By September 1554, my courses had stopped, and I felt nauseous in the mornings. My ladies assured me that this was a sure sign that God had blessed my union with Philip, and I was with the child. Overjoyed, I announced this to the court, and Parliament passed an act naming my beloved husband to be regent in case of anything happening to me during the birth. In anticipation of the birth of my child in April 1555, I had Elizabeth released from house arrest and brought to court to witness the birth. I took to my chambers and I waited. And I waited. Nothing. All through May, June, and July, I held on to the hope of a child. My body still exhibited the signs, but eventually in July my hopes were dashed when my belly receded, leaving me empty and bereft. I took this as God's punishment on me, that I had suffered heretics to live in my realm. Philip left me to command his armies in his war against the French, leaving me heartbroken and alone. I had no husband, no child. Elizabeth stayed at court, but was obstinate as ever, refusing all matches that were suggested to her, claiming she preferred to remain a maid. Silly girl. I turned my attention to my subjects and their faith. I had made a deal with the Pope in Rome that although I would return the English Church to the jurisdiction of Rome, the dissolved monastery's land would remain with their new owners. This appeased most of Parliament. In February 1555, I had begun to execute heretics, including former bishops Latimer and Ridley. Cranmer recanted to save his skin, but I refused to accept this and burnt him anyway. He was, after all, the chief architect of my parents' marital strife. Most rich Protestants fled into exile, removing themselves from my lands. But those that stayed and did not recant were executed, usually by burning. In total, I had executed nearly 300 people, causing some qualms in my council. But I saw it as God's work to bring back my people to the true religion. I was saving their souls. January 1556 saw the abdication of my father-in-law. Philip was declared King of Spain, making me its queen. I could not help but think how proud my mother would be to see. I longed to see Philip, but he remained on the continent, busy with his new duties. Once he needed England's help in his wars, he returned to me to persuade me to declare war on France. I was in favour of it, but my councillors were against. After an invasion of Scarborough Castle by Thomas Stafford with French help in June 1557, we declared war. My armies fought valiantly, bested the French at the Battle of Saint-Quentin. But in 1558, my heart was broken when Calais, the foothold we had on French soil, was taken. When I am dead, you will open me up and find Calais lying in my heart. The only consolation I had was that I once again believed myself pregnant. Philip had left England in July of 1557 for his other duties, and I retreated to London to live quietly. I believed our child would arrive in March of 1558, and I made my will, appointing Philip regent for our child, should the worst happen. When again no child appeared, I was devastated. It seemed that I who longed to be a mother and who I needed an heir for England, was not to be blessed with issue. I began to fall ill with increasing frequency, pains in my belly and constant headaches. I was withdrawn and hid myself away in my chambers. not even playing cards with my ladies, or partaking in the court entertainments. In October, I was forced to accept that Elizabeth would follow me. She would have the throne. This caused me pain. I knew that she would not carry on God's work as I had started. She would follow her own heretic ways, leading my country away from God's grace. I sent her a message asking that my debts be paid and that my church be maintained, but she did not reply. We never saw each other again. I began to weaken, not even able to read letters from Philip, and by November, I was dying. On the 17th, I received Holy Communion and slipped into a coma, dying so quietly and peacefully that at first it went unnoticed. Thus passed the first English Queen regnant into history, unmourned by all except for my faithful ladies. Even my husband only mentioned a slight regret at my passing. I hope you've enjoyed these short snippets into the life of Mary I, Bloody Queen Mary. Please follow our Facebook page or our YouTube channel for further instalments. Pastimes Living History. Goodbye.